let's start the video.
Pepsiman is an interesting mascot to say the least. He was a mascot created by the Japanese division of PepsiCo in the 1990s, being part of a really successful ad campaign that was going on in Japan at the time, where our faceless hero saves the day for thirsty citizens by doing that. Pepsiman was a pretty popular character, with him appearing as the secret guest fighter in the Japanese version of the Sega Saturn game Fighting Vipers, and even getting his very own video game for the Sony PlayStation, which is probably how a lot of us outside of Japan discovered the guy. Also, there's a Pepsi woman to sell the lemon flavor of Pepsi, and hey, yo, stop that! There are kids watching! Anyways, the Pepsiman campaign was so successful that it actually helped Pepsi gain more of a presence in Japan, as Coca-Cola has always dominated the cola market in the country. Now, with a successful mascot, of course you want to broaden your character for different countries, and maybe even change them a bit to be more marketable in those regions. And well, PepsiCo did exactly that, which leads us to this guy right here. Now, this may look like a bootleg for some people, but no, this is actually an official variant of Pepsiman meant for the Southeast Asian market, and he goes by the name Mirindaman. So, quick history lesson. Mirinda is a soft drink that was created in Spain in 1959 that would later be acquired by the soda giant in 1970, which will go on to become Pepsi's main competitor to Coca-Cola's Fanta. Now, if the name Mirinda doesn't ring any bells, then that's because the drink is only sold in markets outside of the United States and Canada. Though, I did find a Mirinda commercial that was made by the Jim Henson Company, with their iconic puppetry and all, so maybe the drink was sold in the US at one point? Or maybe it's either from the UK or Australia or some crap, I don't know. Fast forward to the 90s, PepsiCo created Pepsiman in Japan, the ad campaign was a success, merch was made, yada yada yada, and then this guy spawned into thin air. You're probably wondering right now, how in the world did I find out about Mirindaman's existence? Well, a couple of years ago, I stumbled upon a video called The Secret History of Pepsiman, a documentary created by Devno. I hope I pronounced that right. It's a pretty well-made video that goes in depth on the history of Pepsiman. I actually recommend checking it out if you're interested in it, and well, without that video, this video probably wouldn't exist, so yeah, thanks dude. Anyways, in the video, he interviewed Paul Hill, who is the visual effects producer behind some of the Pepsiman commercials. During the interview, Paul mentions this.
Have you heard about Mirindaman? Mirinda is a soft drink in the Philippines. And they stole several of our commercials and just changed the composite on Pepsiman to make him into Mirindaman. But it was even sang this, they even sang the same song. I think that's an official ripoff. I think they were allowed to do that.
Up! Let's rewind a bit. Now, when I first heard about this, I was like, what? There's more of these liquid metal freaks? And so I went digging the deepest, darkest parts of the internet. And, well, I found a pretty good source that contains this picture. These are screenshots that I took on my tablet back in 2021 of a magazine or book of some sort that was published in Malaysia, which was archived somewhere on the internet at one point. Now, before we continue, I have some good news, so-so news, and bad news regarding the source that I found a while ago. Let's start with the bad. The bad news is that I forgot and can't seem to find the website that hosts the digital scans of this book. Now, I'm not sure if it's because the archive got deleted or if I'm just not searching deep enough, but either way, I apologize if this has caused an inconvenience for people that want to see the magazine. Now for the so-so news. I'm actually unsure what the name of the book is called. I have a feeling this is it though? Malaysian Advertising Directory? It sounds pretty dang obvious considering that it seems like this book contains info regarding the ads that were aired in Malaysia at the time. But what's throwing me off is why would a book contain an ad inside of it to buy another copy of what I assume is the same book that these pages are from? Oh wait, I already know the answer.
Money!
Anyways, the good news is that there's a lot of interesting information regarding Mirindaman in here. So let's take a deep dive and analyze this, shall we? Okay, so let's talk about the elephant in the room right away. These three pictures are actually from Mirindaman commercials that are now lost media. From the looks of it, these commercials appear to be variants of the Pepsiman ads we saw before, with two of these images obviously being a Mirinda version of a Pepsiman commercial, where Pepsiman goes to the crying kid's house and offers him and his mom some Pepsi, and one of the images being from a Mirinda version of the commercial where Pepsiman gets pummeled like a punching bag from a boxer. Now, these pictures may seem like all they did was change Pepsiman's textures with Mirinda branding at first glance, but that doesn't seem to be the case, as according to the text, they seem to have changed the actors with local talent as evidenced by the mom and her son. And also, instead of filming in the USA like the original commercials, they filmed in Malaysia. Another thing to note about these collection of lost ads is that a different studio made the Mirindaman commercials. Instead of Lucas Industrial Light and Magic, the Mirindaman commercials were made by the Malaysian-based Fat Lizard, now known as Vision Animation. They even seem to got their own actor for Mirindaman, which gives out even more evidence that these lost Mirindaman commercials weren't just original copies of the commercials with slight editing differences, but rather full-on recreations made from scratch. Also, when reading this, I found it pretty funny how the person that wrote this thought that the Pepsiman commercials were aired in America, when in actuality they aired in Japan, though I guess I don't blame them. Those commercials are pretty American in style. And oh yeah, I guess it's time to talk about this person right here. Right, so this is where I looked even deeper to solve this mystery. So, whoever wrote this book decided that the main person to credit as the creator of the Mirindaman commercials is Steve Bristow. If you look at the right side of this page, you can see the people and companies that worked on these commercials, and as it turns out, he was actually the animation director for the Mirindaman commercials. At first, I thought that this section would be a pretty big goldmine of leads, but not so much. I looked up the ad agency for the commercials, BBDO Malaysia, and I immediately found a news article saying that they shut down in 2020. And I looked up some of the names here, but they didn't really lead to anywhere. However, looking up Steve Bristow actually gave me some stuff to work with. It turns out that Mr. Bristow has a website portfolio that is now locked with a password. Hey guys, it's me from the future. Here's a note to make things more clear on what past me just said. So around like January to February of 2026, Steve Bristow's website really was locked with a password. Now, I don't have a screenshot to prove this unfortunately, so you can take my word for it or not, but either way, I just checked the website and it is now available to view with a new layout to boot. Heck, maybe that's why the website was locked. It was just going under changes at the time. Please keep in mind that a little later in this video, past me is going to explain what the website's old layout looked like, which had an awards section that the new layout doesn't have at all. You can also see what Steve Bristow's website looked like before the update via the Wayback Machine, which I tried at the time when it was locked, but the locked version's link wouldn't work on the Wayback Machine. Now let's get back to the video. He also has a YouTube channel that has a lot of videos on the projects he worked on, but no sign of Mirinda. Now, this may seem like we're at a dead end here, but it's not over yet. You see, Steve's website wasn't always locked like this. In fact, it wasn't until very recently it was like this, because the last time I visited this website was only in 2025 of last year, and it was free to view. To briefly explain what Steve Bristow's website portfolio looked like, it's your regular old website portfolio. The website shows the stuff they worked on, the companies they worked with, a way to contact them to do business with them. You know how it goes. Oh, and before you ask, no, I don't remember seeing any Mirindaman commercials on his website. However, luckily enough, when I visited Steve Bristow's website before it got locked down, I actually found another clue about the Mirindaman commercial's identity, and I was able to screenshot it. On Steve's website, he has a section that shows the awards that he won from his work, and one of them is the boxer ad, which he got an award for in 1999. This gives us a better idea on when the Mirindaman ad campaign might have aired, and judging the fact that the Mirinda logo looked like this at the time, which according to some sources was during 1995 to 2001, plus the fact that Pepsiman in Japan debuted in 1996, it's safe to say that this campaign was airing around the late 90s, no doubt, with 1999 being the spot-on year. Well, I kind of saved my best bet for last. You're probably wondering, Well, there's gotta be a way to contact the guy, right? And you're right, his business email is tied to his YouTube channel. So I decided to email him and he didn't respond as of the making of this video. One more thing before I wrap things up here. I actually got some extra Mirindaman stuff that I found, but this time from a country outside of Malaysia. Some of these pictures that I found online were from really old Japanese blog posts where the bloggers took a trip to Thailand and took pictures of Thai Mirinda soda cans and promotional art. These pictures are strong evidence that perhaps the Mirindaman commercials have also aired in Thailand. I mean, if there's so much stuff that I could find about Mirindaman that originated in Thailand, then surely the commercials must have also aired in the country, right? Heck, the commercials could have aired in any Southeast Asian country for all we know. Maybe even South Asia, maybe somehow even outside the region. Who knows? I'm not crazy, you're crazy. But that is where my search for the Mirindaman ads ends here. Outside of people that actually worked on the ads, our best bet is that someone who resided in the regions where Mirindaman was promoted happened to have recorded VHS tapes of television programs in the late 90s. Mirindaman has always intrigued me. Just the fact that not only did Pepsiman made it outside of Japan, but they also remade him for another one of Pepsi's soda brands is pretty fascinating. I always find it interesting whenever a brand, commercial, product, or whatever is changed in a different country for one reason or another. Pop culture could be pretty cool in different cultures. Hopefully we get more Mirindaman content in the future and maybe the commercials can be resurfaced one day.